Welcome back to Golden Bloated, everybody. I'm so glad that college football is here, and what a week one we had. Real quick, send me your gear to represent your team on my back wall. I now have a P.O. Box. It is P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina, 29657. You can send shirts, helmets, cups, jerseys, whatever you want to send to represent your team on this channel. Week one is in the books, so it's all about reacting now. A lot of people are putting out their top 10 or the top 25, so yeah, it's my turn to put out my new top 25 after week one. And I'm going by my final preseason rankings as far as where teams fall and where teams jump. So here was my final preseason top 25 poll. Number 1, Alabama. 2, Ohio State. 3, Georgia. 4, Baylor. 5, Clemson. 6, Utah. 7, Miami. 8, Ole Miss. 9, Tennessee. 10, Oklahoma. 11, NC State. 12, Michigan. 13, Texas A&M. 14, USC. 15, Wisconsin. 16, Notre Dame. 17, Oregon. 18, Kentucky. 19, UCLA. 20, Penn State. 21, West Virginia. 22, Oklahoma State. 23, Texas. 24, Michigan State. And 25, South Carolina. There are a few teams that fell out of my top 25 rankings, even though they won, because other teams impressed me more than they did. Don't get mad. You'll probably jump back into my top 25 teams, although 2 of them definitely because of what they did, but other teams impressed me. Oregon got knocked out. They got blown out by Georgia. West Virginia got knocked out. They lost to Pitt. Texas, Michigan State, and South Carolina, those 3 got knocked out because of what other teams did. But as of right now, here's my top 25 after week one. Starting at number 25, this is where I have Florida State. They are 2-0. They come off a big win. I know it was sloppy, and I know it came down to a block point after, but this was a big win over LSU to start the season. Well, technically not to start the season. It did whip FCS Duquesne, but this is a big win for Florida State, 24-23, and to me, that was enough for Florida State to jump into my top 25 and take one of the spots of the lower teams that I did have in my top 25. Number 24 is going to be Pitt. It's a super pain in my rear end to put them in my top 25, but I have to because I did have West Virginia in my top 25. They beat them, ergo they get into the top 25. So number 24, Pitt. They are 1-0. They did beat West Virginia 38-31. Once again, a very sloppy game. West Virginia had multiple opportunities to put Pitt out of their misery because we did have the lead, but we just kept making mistakes, and Neil Brown did not have the guts to go for 4th and inches. And yes, we would have gotten that. We were averaging 5.8 yards per rush. Come on. Number 23, this is where I have Florida. They are 1-0. They just beat number 7 Utah at home 29-26. An interception in the end zone preserved this win. Utah was actually in field goal range. If they just don't turn the ball over, they can at least tie the game. But no, Cameron Rising throws an interception in the end zone. That was ball game. And that's why I have Florida in my top 25. Number 22, this is where I have Notre Dame, falling 6 spots after they lose at number 2, Ohio State, 21-10. But I will say I was impressed with Notre Dame's defense. If they keep playing that way, they could most definitely make a big jump in my rankings if they beat some teams that I'm not expecting them to beat. Not a bad showing for Notre Dame in their first game at the Horseshoe. Number 21, this is where I have Utah falling. I have them falling 15 spots. They lose on the road to Florida, a non-ranked Florida, 29-26, and they didn't even look good in the loss. So yes, I still have Utah barely ranked, but if you keep playing like that, you're not going to make the Pac-12 championship. You must improve, Utah. Number 20, this is where I have Arkansas. They were non-ranked in my last poll. They did beat number 23 Cincinnati 31-24. I thought they would actually spank Cincinnati a little more than what they did, but still, a win's a win, and that's good enough for me to put them in my top 20. Number 19, I really like this team. Oregon State. They were non-ranked in my last poll. They're 1-0. They beat a good Boise State soundly at home 34-17. I think Oregon State has a real chance of winning the Pac-12, and I have them firmly in my top 20. Number 18, this is where I have Oklahoma State, up 4 spots with a win over Central Michigan at home 58-44. So they are 1-0. Wasn't all that impressed with their defense. I know they took their starters out in the 3rd quarter. That's why Central Michigan put up a ton of points. But still not impressed, but it was good enough to jump up 4 spots. Number 17, Kentucky, up 1 spot, 1-0. Beat a very bad Miami of Ohio 37-13. Thought the scoring margin would be a little bit wider, but hey, hey, a win's a win, and you jump up 1 spot. Number 16, UCLA, up 3 spots. They are 1-0. They did beat Bowling Green 45-17. That's about all I can say about UCLA. They'll have to prove themselves in the future. Number 15, this is where I have NC State falling 4 spots. Yes, they're 1-0. They did get the road win over East Carolina 21-20, but it took a lot of nonsense for them to get that win. They have to clean up their offense if they want any shot of beating Clemson and getting to the ACC championship. Number 14, this is where I have Wisconsin, up 1 spot. They are 1-0. They beat FCS Illinois State 38-0. Impressive defense, and they put up some points. Number 13, this is where I have Texas A&M, staying the same. They are also 1-0, beating FCS, soon to be FBS, Sam Houston 31-0 at home. I wasn't really impressed with Texas A&M. They're going to have to do better on that offense if they want to make a significant jump in my polls. Number 12, this is where I have Tennessee. They are 1-0. They beat a bad Ball State 59-10. I was impressed with their offense, just like I thought I would. They are down 3 spots because there were some teams that performed better than them, but still a top 15 team in my rankings. That's not bad. Number 11, Ole Miss, down 3 spots. They beat Troy 28-10. They are 1-0. But that offense did not impress me. Number 10, this is where I have Penn State jumping 10 spots with a big-time win on the road to Purdue, 35-31. They are 1-0. This was a must-win for Penn State if they had any shot of getting to 10 wins. I predicted this win, and I'm sticking with my prediction of Penn State getting to 10 wins, and they are now in my top 10. Number 9, USC, up 5 spots. They're also 1-0. Impressive win over Rice, 66-14. I know Rice isn't all that good, but USC is showing that their offense is definitely back under Lincoln Riley. Well done, USC. Number 8, this is where I have Oklahoma jumping 2 spots. They're also 1-0, beating UTEP 45-13. UTEP, a better team than people realize, and I think Brent Venables did very well in his first game as the head coach of Oklahoma. Number 7, this is where I have Clemson falling 2 spots. They won on the road to Georgia Tech 41-10. Pretty much a blowout, but my gosh, for 3 quarters of this game, Clemson's offense did not look good at all. DJ Uiagalelei needs to play like he did in the 4th quarter and not in the first 3 quarters if Clemson wants any shot of making it to the playoffs. Number 6 is where I have Michigan. They're also 1-0, up 6 spots. Maybe Michigan doesn't take a big step back like I thought they would. Nice win over Colorado State at home, 51-7. The offense actually looked better than what it was last year. Michigan could be a real contender in the Big Ten and possibly get to the playoffs again. Number 5, this is where I have the Canes of Miami, also 1-0, up 2 spots, beating FCS Bethune-Cookman 70-13. Great offense, great defense. I fully expect the Hurricanes to contend for the ACC championship this year. Wow, I have Miami ranked over Clemson. Think about that for a minute. Number 4, this is where I have Baylor staying the same. Blowout win over FCS Albany, 69-10. They are 1-0, and they are the team to beat in the Big 12 for now. Number 3, this is where I have Ohio State falling. They are 1-0. They did beat number 5 Notre Dame at home 21-10. I thought it would be a bigger blowout than that. So did Vegas, so they didn't cover that. But hey, a win's a win. And you're still in my top 4, which means I still have you going to the playoffs. Number 2, this is where I have Alabama. Yes, I have Alabama falling 1 spot. They are 1-0 in spite of blowing out Utah State 55-0. Impressive on the defensive side of the ball. Impressive on the offensive side of the ball. Totally dismantling the defending Mountain West champs. But they fell 1 spot because one team impressed me just a little bit more than Alabama. And that brings us to number 1. Georgia, also 1-0, up 2 spots. Absolutely whooped number 11 Oregon 49-3. The defending champs are looking like the champs. If they keep playing like this throughout the year, they could most definitely win back-to-back national championships. Now, we don't know how bad Oregon is, so maybe Oregon is just that bad, but I have to reward Georgia. You are my new number 1 team. Y'all let me know in the comments section where you disagree with me at, and I know you will, but also please let me know where you agree. It's nice to know that you agree with me a little bit at least. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.